Yeah, I mean, I think the future is pretty darn bright for both of them, right? They're, I think for Jett and Hunter, both of them are kind of in a similar spot where they're, everything's in front of them, right? If you look at where do you want to go as a career, both of them are young enough. I think Jett's ceiling is higher, which I've talked about a lot. But I think for Hunter, he's kind of figured this thing out where he might be able to win some stuff, especially if you factor in like things happen, people get hurt, injuries happen. And I think for Hunter, one of the biggest aspects of what works so well for him is he puts himself in incredibly good positions all the time with those starts. And that is such a massive coup for him to have. Is it's the opposite of the Chase Sexton effect. If you consistently put yourself in great positions, man, good things tend to happen. Like if you're on the pace and you're riding well, and then you also get incredible starts, just the world gets so much easier. Like the ask of what you're trying to accomplish is simply so much easier. So um, I think for Hunter, this was a breakout year. It's obviously his rookie season, but he certainly opened my eyes to what he can do with his career, because I was kind of like, yeah, it's going to be good. He'll make some money, but I think he really overperformed most people's expectations this year. Like it was a really, really strong year for him. I think he kind of gave Honda's plan. Like Honda was, they moved him up early, right? Like that was way ahead of schedule for him to go to 450 because of the Chase Sexton change. So I think with that in place, he has made good on kind of what they saw in him, right? Like if you're going to make this move, you've got to kind of affirm what they see in you so they feel like they made a good decision. And I absolutely think he's done that. Like he did the job of, because sorry, I'm kind of dancing around this, but in these meetings, right? You think about a year and a half ago, Chase Sexton tells Honda like, "Hey, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go to KTM. Thank you for everything." They were not prepared for that decision entirely. Like, yes, they heard the rumors. I think they were hoping to kind of keep Chase, but they had to make a decision on Hunter's future and move him up. And I don't think they really had much in the way of expectation for Hunter. It was kind of like, this is going to be a learning experience. Let's make the most of it and stay healthy and just learn. Well, he was the points leader in 450 Pro Motocross for half the season, right? And he was the points leader of the SMX World Championship going into the last round. Like that's all that is so far ahead of schedule. Really is kind of where I'm trying to get to. That Honda has to be over the moon. Hunter himself has to be very satisfied with where he is. Is he completely like content? No, that's what makes racers, but he has to be really happy with how it unfolded, because we've seen it not go that way. Look at Aaron Plessinger's early years on a 450. Look at Cooper Webb's early years on a 450. Wasn't great. Like these guys did not find early success. They really struggled, and it could have gone that way. There was no reason to look at Hunter Lawrence versus like Cooper Webb coming off a 250, Aaron Plessinger coming off a 250. There was no reason to think it was going to go entirely different than that, right? Like I would have been one that said, hey, that first year, it's really hard to jump into the deep end. And I think early on, I truly think early on, you saw that from Hunter. He didn't qualify at the first round. Then he's, like he almost won the heat race in the mud in San Francisco, but like those early rounds weren't great. He was running around 7, 8, 9, 10. That was what I expected. And then somehow, some way, around the midpoint, he turned the corner. He started getting better starts. He really turned it on. I think Seattle was a breakout moment. He won that heat race, and we're like, oh, we might have something here, right? And he found his confidence, and it was gangbusters the rest of the way from there for Hunter. So I have nothing but the highest marks to give him, because I was pretty pessimistic on his rookie year odds. So congratulations, man. The sky's the limit from here. I think you made believers out of a lot of people who, maybe not doubters, that might not be the fair phrasing, but kind of people like me who are shrugging their shoulders going, I don't know how this is going to go. Like this is going to be tough, and it wouldn't shock me to see some struggle along the way here. So that's for Hunter. It's for Jett. I mean, I don't know that there are or is a bar that is too high for Jett, and I just watch him ride. I see how good he is all the time, right? And when I say that, I mean sometimes he is truly untouchable. I believe that. Like I don't think there's a rider on the planet that can beat him some nights. But even on his worst nights and worst days in 2024, he was still like one of the best, right? Like there were not any days in 2024 where I'm like, you know what? Those guys are a lot better than Jett. Like I never saw that, never thought that, never had evidence of it. Never ever did that thought creep into my mind based off of what my eyes were telling me. Not once. That's very rare. I don't know that I've ever said that about a rider in his early years. Now, once you get established, Jeremy McGrath, Ricky Carmichael, yeah, you have years and years of championships to back it up, and they're a multi-time 450 champ. Oh yeah, we get it, right? Like you already know. But I thought for Jett to come into his first 450 Monster Energy Supercross championship and do the things he did, where I never ever felt like he wasn't as good or better than anybody on the racetrack. That's rare air. There's a million different ways to paint that picture, and the stats all back it up. But as long as that kid stays engaged, there's not much that I would put out of his reach. And I know there are a lot of people that don't like that, don't like Jett, want an American to win, that's all okay. Like those are not things that I subscribe to. I'm just giving you my pure analysis, and there's not a lot that kid couldn't accomplish in this sport.
Yeah, well said, mate. It's great insight, and yeah, definitely agree with what you're saying. There's definitely a lot of haters when it comes to talking about Jett and Hunter, and I guess what you said on Hunter was really ringing true there as well. I guess he probably doesn't quite get the praise he deserves. You know, in another year, he's close to winning a couple of titles, which is just crazy. Obviously, Sexton and Jett are just so elite, but you know, definitely if you look back to, I guess this time last year, I guess there's probably chat about, oh, he's probably going to be top 8 in the Supercross. So to do what he did and sort of have the year he had, he definitely deserves a lot of praise, doesn't he? Because I don't think too many people, maybe even him, saw him being just that good with the progress, did they?
No, I don't think so. I think that he just basically overperformed every expectation and continues to. And if you have an underwhelming expectation, you probably need to just kind of adjust that on the fly here, because I don't see that changing.